Finally, I bought a new Poly-Synth for my studio. It's under this blanket. Hold the line to see which synth finally did it. And maybe you will already hear it in the demo. Hi, it's Chris from Wine&Synths. If you are part of my first subscribers, you will probably remember that I started this channel 2 years ago when I selected new gear for my little new home studio. My idea was that it could be possibly interesting for you to watch an old man who stopped producing music 20 years ago and sold all of his classic synths, starting from scratch again. Concerning monosynths and drum machines, Ötzi woke up in a kind of paradisiac future where a certain Uli B was cloning all the beloved classical Roland stuff and sold it for a song. So I quickly acquired some TD3s and an RD8 and an RD9. We had a lot of fun with my acid mate Stefan to demo them here. But to me, acid is not everything in life, and quickly I lusted for more serious synths than TB303 clones. So I bought the Matriarch, which to me seems to be the pinnacle of the monosynth offer until today. And it replaces the whole modular. I really love it and use it in almost every track and can't stop to recommend it to young, old, experienced or rookie synth lovers. To complete my classic analog sound palette, my idea was to add some ARP sound to the Moog and Roland colors. And so at first the ARP Odyssey Mini came to the studio, which is an awesome clone. I grabbed it spontaneously as B-Ware at Thomann for a ridiculous price because it was lacking the suitcase. Unfortunately, they are not produced anymore and prices are already rising. Even if you intend to build one yourself. Spontaneously, because I already had an order on the B2600. But when it finally came, I was happy to notice that the sound character of the B2600 and the ARP Odyssey are not exactly the same. And back in the 90s, an ARP 2600 was something that was already hard to find and then quite expensive. So I still really enjoy both of them. But one very important thing was missing until this point. A real analog polyphonic synthesizer. As I don't count the VC340 to those, because it's only a string machine with a built-in vocoder. And for sure, sounds heartwarming every minute you play it. And I wanted a brand new synthesizer, as the prices for beat-up Juno 60s and other 80s epigones were skyrocketing, with all their disadvantages like lack of MIDI and aging of electrical components, which equals costly repairs. So I started to spot the UDO Super 6 and the Arturia Poly Brut, which came out by the time. The Super 6 appealed to me because of its Roland Jupiter 6-like design and its powerful straight sound. And Roland Poly-Synths from the 80s were always my favorites, so I already owned some of them. On the other hand, I never was a great fan of the sequential sound, while Oberheim's were nice but somehow unreliable already 30 years ago. So after a visit at the Superboost 21, where we made our first synth tour ever for this channel, I ended up with the Super 6 and the Poly Brut, which both manufacturers kindly offered me to check out as long as I like. Thanks for that again. To be honest, the first contact with both was a bit frustrating. The UDO instantly got me with its assertive sound, but had some really annoying bugs on the MIDI side. Thankfully, those were eliminated and I rehabilitated UDO later on when I made a review with the Super 6 desktop. All in all, this is really a great synth I keep in mind. The Polybrut was more like a diva and had some problems with tuning on one of the voice boards when it got colder in the studio. This was more vintage that I actually was looking for. And overall, for me, the whole thing was a bit too complex and felt too digital. There was just no spark between us. Otherwise, it's a rich sounding synth with an enormous sound complexity. Then, one day, the inevitable happened. I was checking the news and saw Roland announcing the JX-08. As I always was a fan of the JX-8P, I spontaneously decided to order one. As due to the chip shortage, I had to wait over 3 months for it. In the meantime, I found out that the original JX-8Ps are not as expensive as the rest of the classic Roland stuff. And I bought one for a bit more than 500 euro. What had I done there? It was instant magic. Maybe you know those feelings of goosebumps and when a shiver runs down your spine. When this happens to me, it means that an instrument meets exactly my benchmark in sound. And here it was a 100% match. Also, my mates here were extremely pleased with the JX and it quickly became a favorite here in the studio. I already made a detailed video about how I hot rodded it using Dr. Vekoven's PWM Magic Potion. And of course, the JX-08 did not match my requirements for a serious studio tool, and you will surely enjoy my rant about it in this video. Then I received the Xerxes from Black Corporation to check out. This is a great synth, no doubt. I have found a lot of pleasure in it and made several demos for another video review I really had a lot of fun making. But to be honest, the price is simply ridiculous. If it was something like 1999, it would have been a no-brainer, but for over 4,000 euro now, I prefer to wait for a good offer on an original syntax. I also had a decade's dream here, and then also at the time when Vangelis passed away. What a coincidence. As they did not have the ring modulator module anymore, I did not feel to make a video with it. The whole thing was quite boring and without polyphonic aftertouch, the CS80 clone thing doesn't really make sense to me. But I used it in my Vangelis tribute video with the dancing octopus. Check it out. The next step I took in terms of Poly-Synths was one on the cheaper side of digital things. So I started with the Mod Wave, then came the Argonaut, and then the absolutely amazing Hydra Synth. If you are short on a budget and want enormous sound in a complex size MIDI master keyboard with polyphonic aftertouch, you can't go around the Explorer, which I then also made the top budget synth recommendation of the year. And this was it. Until now I totally missed out the new sequentials, and the OBX and the Trigon are synths that I would also like to check out. But as I told before, both brands never took a big place on my personal sound agenda. And then, the other day, I spontaneously broke all my personal rules and bought this one here. Do you want to see it? Really? Okay, then see you in the next video. Goodbye. I'm joking, but like under the video and a push on the subscribe button will make things go further. Ja, danke. And now, drum roll, please. Ta-ta! And yes, it's a beat up Juno 6, which I paid too much money for. And what can I say, when I plugged it in, it was as if he had never been away. I can play arpeggios and tweak the sound for hours, and it's always exactly doing what I want and what I like. The chorus, the filter, the snappy envelopes, everything is simply totally satisfying on this synth, at least for me. So here you can see a happy man. The first one I owned actually was a Juno 60 that a friend gave to me around 93 or 94 when he bought a JN-80 that sounded so much better to him. I sold it some years ago when I was more interested in saxophones, which actually is my first instrument with the flute, and had an opportunity to acquire another real collector's item. But since then I always regretted it, and also plugins were not really an alternative. They sound neat, but it's not the same interaction while playing. And an old Juno requires a special way to be played, which leads to its signature sounds you can hear so nicely in Arnaud Rebotini's live shows, for example. Because it doesn't have MIDI, the only way to incorporate it in a MIDI system is to trigger the arpeggio clock. And this makes those instant 80s bass lines reaching from fat to snappy. And triggering it with drum machines also brings rhythmical variations in. So no wonder that all those hip Instagram synthwave aficionados swear on the Junos. And this is also exactly why I never wanted a 106. No arpeggiator, no real Juno fun. On the other hand, I did not really care about the fact if it is a 6 or 60. On my old 60 I never used the presets and also never replaced the battery, so a 6 comes handy for me. So my plans for this one are to make it nice again with new side panels I have already ordered from Synthholz.de. Quick and friendly service and really nice handcraft. Then there are some faders and a switch that need attention. And while it's open, it would maybe be nice to install a MIDI kit. I was actually looking for the Cubotech Juno 66 upgrade here from Berlin. But maybe there are also some alternatives. Or should I leave it as original as possible? What would you do and what can you recommend? Leave a comment, please. In the meantime, I'll be diving into my new production again. Thanks for watching, see you and auf Wiedersehen. Peace. Und Cut!